Alien princes horrified. That wasn't an army, it was a rescue team. Tall crystal walls surrounded them, and the sky beyond the glass glowed with a calm blue light from their twin suns. Their world had always felt safe. Their empire had always felt strong. But today the air felt heavier, and their hearts were full of fear. Prince Avel, the older brother, stood tall with a serious face. He was known for discipline and calm judgment. His younger brother, Prince Loran, stood beside him with worried eyes. He always felt emotions deeply, and today his worry was clear as daylight. Below their palace tower, their capital city spread wide, full of tall silver buildings, floating trains, and shining towers. But today, people were not relaxed. Sirens echoed gently in the distance. Citizens gathered in groups, looking toward the sky. Their beautiful world was in danger. A massive cosmic disaster was moving closer. If something was not done, millions of lives could be lost. Inside the observation hall, many royal advisors, high-ranking officers, and scientists stood together. Every screen, every display panel, every floating hologram was focused on one thing, the sky, because something enormous was arriving. A royal guard suddenly bowed and spoke with a firm but respectful voice. "Your Highnesses, the human fleet has arrived." A wave of silence spread through the room. Humans, even the word carried weight across the galaxy. Humans were known by many names in space. Some called them fierce, some called them unpredictable, some said they were too brave for their own safety. Others whispered that humans carried hearts stronger than iron and spirits that refused to break. Some feared them. Some admired them. Many did not understand them at all. The princes had heard many stories about humans but had never seen their full power in person. And now humanity had come to their world. The great transparent ceiling of the hall darkened as the kingdom's massive viewing projectors activated. The room shifted to a giant display of deep space. A dark star field appeared, then their people gasped. Because the sky filled with light. One by one, great human ships burst out of hyperspace, leaving trails of shining blue behind them. Then more appeared, and even more, hundreds, thousands, entire waves of ships. Large ships, medium ships, small ships, each moving in perfect formation like a single living being. It did not look like a simple visit, it looked like a full-scale military force. Prince Loran's hands tightened. His voice shook softly. This looks like an invasion." His brother did not reply at first. Prince Avel simply watched, studying every detail. Human ships formed wide protective rings around the planet. Massive carriers took stable positions. Smaller ships moved quickly into structure. Everything was organized. Everything was disciplined. It looked like preparation for war. The advisors began whispering, fear rising like a cold wind. Why would they send so many ships? This is not a support mission. This is a takeover, it must be. Our defenses cannot match this power. The Royal Defense Commander spoke calmly but seriously. If they wanted to take our world, we would not be able to stop them. A heavy silence followed. The princes knew this was true. Human technology was powerful. Their fleets were legendary. Entire empires had failed to stand against human strategy in the past. But humans did not conquer for greed. That was the strange part. They only acted when something serious was at stake. And here they were, in numbers beyond belief. Prince Avel finally spoke. "Have they sent a message?" The communications officer nodded quickly. "Yes, Your Highness, a single message." Everyone leaned closer. "Play it." The hall filled with soft static for a moment, then a calm human voice spoke. It was clear, strong, peaceful. "This is the United Human Coalition Response Fleet. We are here to help." Just that, no threat. No demand, no loud declarations, just those simple words. The room fell silent again. "Help." The advisors looked confused. Some were hopeful, some were still doubtful. Prince Loran looked up at his brother. "They brought all this just to help." Outside, the cosmic disaster continued drawing closer. A massive, unstable energy wave was approaching the planet. It had already damaged space stations. It had torn apart communications satellites and shook planetary systems. Their scientists estimated terrible destruction. Billions of lives were at risk. Their kingdom had sent a desperate call for aid across the galaxy. They did not expect humanity to be the first to answer. They did not expect them to arrive in such strength. Prince Avel turned to his scientists. "Show me the latest planetary stability readings." A hologram appeared, showing their world surrounded by dangerous energy distortions. Buildings could collapse. Oceans could storm violently, entire cities could fall. Worse, the planet's orbit itself was becoming unstable. Their world needed help, real help, fast help. But could humans truly do something? Before the princes could think further, something else appeared on the giant sky display. The human ships were opening. Vast hangars glowed as hundreds of smaller craft launched. But they were not fighters. They were not bombers. They were not attack drones. They were something else. Medical vessels, repair platforms, massive engineering ships the size of cities, thousands of rescue craft. The hall filled with astonished gasps. What they thought were warships were actually giant rescue carriers. Their shapes were firm like battleships, but their purpose was different. They carried hospitals. They carried construction yards. They carried rescue teams trained to handle disasters on a galactic scale. Prince Loran's eyes widened. They came prepared not to take lives, but to save them. The humans began deploying enormous stabilizer pylons across space. They launched shield arrays to protect sections of the planet. They sent drones to monitor fault lines. They worked with calm speed like this was something they had done many times before. The royal scientists were shocked. They are stabilizing our orbit. They are reinforcing the planetary shield. They are reducing surface-level shock impact. How are they doing this so fast? Because the human fleet moved like a miracle. They did not hesitate. They did not argue. They did not delay. They simply acted. It became clear that everything about the human arrival had meaning. Their numbers were not for war. Their discipline was not for conquest. Their power was not for dominance. It was for protection. Prince Avel slowly exhaled, feeling something strange in his chest. It was not fear anymore. It was respect. But doubt still lived in the minds of others in the hall. One royal advisor spoke nervously. But why send something that looks like a war fleet? Why not a small group? Why not a few aid ships? Why come with such strength that it scares everyone? A soft smile slowly formed on the older prince's face. Because maybe, for humans, rescue is not small. Maybe saving lives is their greatest mission. Maybe they bring everything because they refuse to fail. Outside, the sky filled with human activity. Communications began flowing through. Calm human voices spoke with their engineers and scientists. Plans formed quickly. Cooperation replaced fear. Citizens who looked at the sky still trembled. But slowly their fear began to change into hope as they saw gentle bright lights crossing the heavens instead of weapons firing. From the palace window, the princes could see shining trails across the atmosphere as human shuttles entered carefully, bringing teams to the ground to help evacuation and safety measures. Prince Loran whispered softly, "They look like an army, but they do not act like one." Prince Avel nodded. "They are something else." For a long moment, the two princes stood side by side, watching silently. For the first time since the crisis began, they felt the possibility that their world might survive. Humans had come not as conquerors, not as rulers, but as guardians of life, and the princes did not yet know it. But this was only the beginning. The human fleet surrounded the alien world like a bright shield in the sky. Every ship moved with calm grace and strong purpose. From space, it looked like a silent guardian ring, steady and powerful. Down below, the planet still trembled under the growing cosmic disaster. The ground shook sometimes. Winds howled strangely. The air felt heavy with tension. Inside the royal palace, the princes continued to watch every new update. Messages flowed between human command and the alien government. Engineers talked. Scientists shared data. Human officers spoke with confidence and kindness, using calm voices that made frightened hearts feel lighter. But still, not everyone trusted them. Some worried leaders and advisors whispered in corners. What if they change their minds? What if this is only a trick to get close? What if they help us only to control us later? Fear was a powerful thing. Even when kindness stood right in front of them, doubt still tried to grow. Prince Loran felt troubled. He believed what humans said, but he also understood his people's fear. They had never seen a rescue like this. They had never seen a civilization arrive with such power and claim it was only to help. Power in the galaxy usually meant control. Strength usually meant someone wanted something in return, but humans were different. Prince Avel turned calmly to the council. "We must not panic. Watch them, judge them by their actions, not our fear." Outside in space, human ships worked without rest. Giant stabilizer arrays expanded, spreading soft protective light. Massive support platforms locked into orbit and began controlling dangerous energy waves. It was like watching an expert doctor heal a giant living planet. Then came the most surprising sight yet. One of the largest human ships opened completely, and a floating city appeared inside it. But this city was not for living. It was a mobile hospital the size of a continent. Thousands of medical drones flew out, support bridges extended. Human medical teams began landing in safe zones across the planet. They set up relief stations, comfort areas, emergency shelters, food supply centers, and field hospitals everywhere. And they did it with gentle care. They treated alien citizens with the same respect they would treat their own people. Elder citizens were guided to safety with patience. Children crying in fear were comforted softly. Families that had been separated were helped and reunited. Human rescue workers smiled warmly even though they worked non-stop. They spoke kindly even when they were tired. They protected others with fearless hearts. Soon, more and more citizens began to see the truth. These were not conquerors, these were protectors. Meanwhile, the disaster continued to grow. Their planet's atmosphere was stressed. The energy storm outside the planet grew brighter and more unstable. Buildings shook more often, power grids flickered. Scientists grew worried. Then something unexpected happened. A giant communication window opened in the sky, projected from human ships, so the princes and government could see. A human commander appeared. He wore a clean uniform, not decorated with medals of war, but marked with symbols of service and responsibility. His eyes held warmth, intelligence, and strong determination. "Kingdom leadership," he said calmly. "We have analyzed the situation. Your planet is in severe danger, but we will not let it fall. We have a plan." The room listened carefully. He explained everything step by step in clear, simple detail. The humans were building a giant energy net around the planet. They would stabilize gravity, slow the energy storm, and repair weakened planetary systems. It would take effort. It would take time. It would be dangerous. But they would not stop. They would stay until everyone was safe. When the connection ended, silence filled the hall. Then slowly, hope began to breathe. Prince Loran felt tears in his eyes but did not let them fall. He whispered softly, "They truly came just to save us." But not everyone was ready to believe. One elder council member spoke anxiously. "Your Highness, what if something goes wrong? What if they fail and leave us? What if they are only doing this to make the galaxy trust them? What if they ask for our loyalty later?" Prince Avel answered calmly, without anger. "Then we deal with that when the time comes. But right now, they are the only reason we still have a chance to live. Right now, they choose to help us when they could simply watch from afar." And that was true. Humans did not have to come. They chose to. Outside, a human engineering ship drifted dangerously close to an unstable energy wave to place a stabilizer anchor. It was risky. Sparks of pure cosmic force lashed against its shields, shaking the ship violently. Inside the palace, everyone watched in fear. Prince Loran grabbed his brother's arm without thinking. "Will they be all right?" Human command voices echoed calmly across space. "Hold steady, we've got this." Shield reinforcement online, anchor deployed. A giant wave of light flowed. Then peace. The area stabilized. A cheer erupted across human communication channels. Relief washed through the palace room. Even soldiers and guards who tried to remain serious let out slow breaths of relief. The princes realized something important. Humans were not fearless because they lacked fear. They were fearless because they acted even when afraid. They risked themselves willingly for strangers. That was rare in the galaxy. Soon, human shuttles landed near the capital city. The princes decided to meet them, not from pride, not from suspicion, from respect. A landing area was prepared near the royal city. Citizens gathered at a safe distance, watching anxiously as a human transport descended. It landed gently. The doors opened. Human officers walked out first, followed by medical experts, engineers, and relief workers. They were not armed. They carried tools, scanners, emergency packs, and devices meant to build and heal, not to fight. Their leader stepped forward. He bowed politely. "We thank you for trusting us," Prince Avel bowed back. "We thank you for coming." For a moment there was quiet understanding between them. Different worlds, different species, same desire to protect life. Prince Loran studied them with curiosity. He expected cold soldiers. Instead, he saw warm people with strong hearts. Some smiled kindly. Some looked tired but determined. None looked threatening. Then something happened that surprised everyone. A small alien child ran forward from the crowd. The guards gasped in fear, thinking it might be dangerous. But the child was only crying, scared, and shaking. Before anyone could even react, one human medic knelt down gently, opened their arms, and comforted the child with soft, soothing voice. No fear, no hesitation. Only kindness. The princes watched in silence. That simple moment spoke louder than all grand speeches. Soon, humans and aliens worked side by side. They built support stations. They installed safety shields in the city. They created stability around vital structures. Human engineers smiled while explaining their tools. Alien scientists listened with fascination. Cooperation replaced doubt. Trust began growing naturally. But above them, the cosmic storm roared louder. The final and strongest wave was coming. Human command sent a message. All ships prepare for full rescue operation sequence. Every human ship brightened. Energy fields spread wider. Massive structures locked into place. Humanity was about to do something huge. In the palace, tension returned. If this final plan failed, the planet would suffer greatly. Prince Avel spoke firmly. We must stand brave. If they are fighting for us, we must not give up faith in them. Prince Loran nodded. He was still afraid, but he also believed. The sky darkened as clouds gathered. The ground vibrated, winds roared, the world shook like a frightened giant. Citizens looked to the heavens. Human ships formed a shining barrier. Then, like heroes standing against a raging storm, humanity faced the disaster head-on. They did not run, they did not hide. They stood their ground to protect another world. In that moment, the alien princes finally understood what many in the galaxy could never truly grasp. Humans did not bring power to show dominance. They brought power to protect life. They brought unity where there was fear. They brought courage where there was hopelessness. And even though the storm was still coming, the princes no longer felt alone. Humanity was with them, and that changed everything. The alien princes watched from the palace observation deck as the human fleet worked tirelessly. The sky was full of shining lights. Every human ship moved with purpose, but none of them showed aggression. Their ships were fast, precise, and strong. Some hovered close to the planet to repair damaged power grids. Others carried massive medical stations to aid citizens. Every move they made seemed perfectly organized, like a dance performed by an invisible hand guiding thousands at once. Prince Loran could hardly believe his eyes. He leaned forward, gripping the railing, and whispered, "They are not afraid, not even a little." Prince Avel nodded slowly. "It is not that they are fearless, they simply refuse to fail." The palace scientists were monitoring the planet's surface in real time. Screens showed cities at risk from the growing cosmic disaster. Waves of energy storms were moving faster than anyone had predicted. Buildings shook, bridges cracked, rivers overflowed, entire neighborhoods were at risk of being destroyed. The human fleet responded immediately. Massive repair drones flew to critical locations. They lifted broken structures with delicate precision. Human engineers worked alongside alien teams, explaining procedures patiently and efficiently. Every decision they made was calculated for safety and survival. A human commander spoke through the communication network, calm and clear. Team Alpha stabilize the northern power grid. Team Beta assist with city evacuation. Team Gamma reinforce the orbital shields. Keep civilians safe at all costs. The humans did not panic. They did not hesitate. They did not argue. Even when massive energy surges threatened to destroy their ships, they adjusted their strategies calmly, thinking quickly, acting decisively. Prince Loran turned to his brother, eyes wide. They act like they have done this 1,000 times before." Prince Avel shook his head slightly. "Perhaps they have, but not for themselves, for others. That is the difference." Outside, the disaster grew stronger. A massive energy wave approached the capital city, sending tremors across the streets. Citizens panicked. Screams echoed as people ran to safer areas. Then came the human rescue shuttles. They descended gently, landing in open areas near hospitals, schools, and community centers. Teams of human medics and engineers rushed out. They carried emergency kits, stretchers, and stabilizing tools. The first team reached a collapsed building where many people were trapped. Alien rescuers tried to lift heavy debris, but they hesitated, worried about causing more damage. A human engineer stepped forward and spoke softly. "Stand back," he said calmly. "We will take care of this. Follow our instructions." The humans worked quickly. They lifted debris carefully, created safe passages, and evacuated trapped citizens with precision. Every life mattered. No one was left behind. Prince Loran watched closely. He could feel the difference between humans and other species in the galaxy. Many civilizations valued power, strategy, and victory. Humans valued life. Every action, every decision, every move was focused on saving others. "Do you see it, brother?" Loran asked. "They risk themselves for people they don't even know, and they do it without hesitation." Avil remained silent for a moment, studying the human fleet in orbit. Then he nodded slowly. "I see it. Humanity's strength is not in weapons. It is in their courage and determination to protect." Meanwhile, the palace received an urgent message. "Your Highnesses," said a senior alien scientist, "the northern energy surge is increasing rapidly. If it reaches the capital, it could destroy the main power grid and collapse key buildings." Prince Avil turned toward the observation deck. "What are the humans doing?" The answer appeared on the screens. Human ships formed a perfect ring around the city. Smaller shuttles moved between buildings, stabilizing structures and assisting evacuation. Massive repair drones adjusted the city's power network in real time. Avil and Loran could see human medics guiding frightened citizens. They held alien children close, speaking in soft, reassuring voices. They comforted elders, helped families reunite, and treated injuries immediately. The aliens had never seen such dedication. Prince Loran swallowed hard. "They care about everyone, even strangers, even enemies, maybe," Prince Avil nodded. "They are showing the galaxy that strength is not about destruction, it is about protection. They are showing us the meaning of courage." As the energy wave approached, the human fleet shifted into a new formation. Massive shield generators extended from orbit, creating a protective barrier around the capital. The city trembled under the pressure, but the shields held. Citizens cheered in the streets, relief washing over them as they saw their lives protected. On the ground, human engineers worked with alien teams to reinforce key buildings. They lifted collapsed bridges, repaired broken roads, and stabilized critical structures. Every human worked tirelessly. Some had been awake for days, yet they did not stop. Every life saved was their mission. Prince Loran whispered almost to himself, "If this were an army, the sky would look different, but this is a rescue force, a real rescue force." Prince Avil finally spoke, his voice steady. "And that is what terrifies some species. Humans are fearless not because they seek power, but because they act for others. They do not give up. They do not abandon those in need." Then a new challenge appeared. A massive storm of energy, larger than before, moved toward the city's outskirts. Buildings shook violently. Debris flew. Citizens screamed in fear. Many were trapped under fallen structures. The human fleet responded instantly. Shuttles carrying medical teams landed directly in the danger zone. Engineers stabilized buildings using advanced technology, while drones lifted heavy debris. Human medics treated injuries as chaos swirled around them. One human officer spoke calmly over the comm network. "Alpha Team, secure the civilians. Beta Team, reinforce the buildings. Gamma Team, deploy shields. Delta Team, assist the injured. Everyone, stay focused. We will not fail." Even when their own lives were at risk, humans did not stop. They continued their work with unwavering determination. Prince Loran watched, awe filling his heart. "They are risking everything for us, for everyone," he whispered. Prince Avil nodded, eyes shining. "And that is why the galaxy should fear humans. Not because they seek war, but because they fight for what is right. They fight for life itself." The energy storm finally struck the human shield. Massive arcs of light exploded in the sky. The city trembled. The princes held their breath, waiting for destruction. But the shield held. The storm's energy dispersed across the protective network. The city remained standing. Citizens cheered. Relief and gratitude spread across the streets. The human fleet moved quickly to the next danger zone, leaving the capital safe for now. Prince Loran turned to his brother, his voice filled with wonder. "They are unstoppable, not because they are strong, but because they refuse to give up. They never stop helping, never stop protecting." Avil placed a hand on Loran's shoulder. "And that is the lesson we must remember. True strength is not measured by weapons or armies. It is measured by courage, compassion, and determination to protect life." The princes watched as humans continued their work across the planet. They stabilized cities, assisted citizens, and repaired critical infrastructure. Their tireless efforts slowly turned fear into hope. In that moment, the princes understood a truth that would stay with them forever. Humanity's power was not for conquest. Humanity's power was for protection. Humanity's power was for courage. And as the cosmic disaster raged on, the princes felt a new sense of hope. Their world was not alone. Humans had come not to rule, not to fight, but to save. And that was a force stronger than any army in the galaxy. The alien princes stood on the palace observation deck, their eyes fixed on the horizon. The sky above their world glowed with chaos and beauty at the same time. Massive energy waves, born from a cosmic disaster, collided with the planet's atmosphere, sending sparks and storms across the surface. Yet, amid the chaos, the human fleet moved with perfect coordination. Prince Loran gripped the railing, his heart pounding. They are everywhere," he whispered. "Every city, every disaster zone, they are already there." Prince Avel nodded, his expression serious but calm. "And they are not just present, they are active, they are saving lives." From orbit, human ships deployed emergency stations, stabilizers, and rescue drones. Shuttles darted through the sky like fireflies, carrying teams to critical zones. On the planet's surface, humans worked alongside alien volunteers. They lifted debris, guided citizens to safe zones, repaired broken bridges, and treated injuries. Their presence was like a protective blanket across the world, yet some alien officials still doubted. "They came in strength that could destroy cities," whispered an advisor. "How can we be sure they are not planning something?" Prince Avel turned slowly, his gaze steady. "Do you see what they are doing? Do you see how they act?" The advisor hesitated. The answer was clear. Humans were risking their lives for others, aliens and citizens alike. Every action was deliberate, every choice focused on saving lives, not taking them. Prince Loran's voice shook with awe. "It is incredible, they do not even fear danger, not even the largest storms." And the danger was enormous. A massive energy wave, the largest yet, surged toward a crowded city. The winds ripped through streets, tossing debris in every direction. Buildings trembled, bridges cracked, rivers swelled and spilled over, flooding streets. Panic gripped the citizens. The human fleet acted immediately. Massive shield generators projected bright energy fields over the city. Human shuttles landed in the worst-hit areas. Rescue teams jumped into action. They lifted debris, guided citizens to safety, and stabilized structures with advanced technology. Even when lightning-like energy arcs struck nearby, humans held their ground. One human medic, a woman with tired but determined eyes, crouched beside a trapped child. She lifted a fallen beam with her team, speaking softly to calm the child. "You are safe now. We've got you," she said, her voice steady. Prince Loran's chest swelled with emotion. He turned to his brother. "They are not soldiers. They are heroes, real heroes." Prince Avel remained silent for a moment, studying the operation. Then he spoke, his voice low but firm. "Not only heroes, brother, they are a reminder of what life can be at its best. Courage without cruelty, strength without greed, sacrifice without hesitation." The alien citizens watched in awe as humans worked. People who had feared the humans before now cheered for them. They began to understand that these were not conquerors. These were guardians. The largest energy wave approached the northern city, a wave that could have leveled entire districts. The human fleet moved faster than anyone expected. Shuttles delivered stabilizers. Drones flew into the storm to redirect energy surges. Engineers on the ground worked with humans in real time, coordinating every move. Prince Loran could not tear his eyes away. "They are facing the storm head-on, and it is huge." Prince Avel replied quietly, "Yes, and they do it willingly, not for power, not for glory. They do it because they cannot stand by when others suffer." The storm hit the human shield. Sparks of energy danced across the sky. Buildings trembled violently. Citizens screamed in fear, yet even under this pressure, the humans did not retreat. They adjusted their shields, recalibrated their stabilizers, and guided everyone to safety. Every life mattered. The princes watched a human engineer climb onto a broken bridge to attach a stabilizer. The bridge shook under the storm's power, threatening to collapse. Alien officials shouted for the engineer to retreat, but he continued, carefully securing the equipment. Moments later, the bridge was steady. Dozens of citizens crossed safely. Prince Loran whispered, almost in disbelief, "Even when they are in danger, they do not stop. They risk themselves for strangers." Prince Avel nodded slowly. "And that is why they are unstoppable. They fight not for themselves, but for everyone else." The storm continued to rage, yet the humans adapted seamlessly. Shuttles moved citizens out of danger zones. Drones lifted heavy debris from blocked streets. Medical teams treated injuries immediately. Engineers repaired critical infrastructure. Every action was precise, coordinated, and fearless. Then came a moment that changed everything. A massive energy surge struck the city's central power hub. Sparks and lightning-like energy flew everywhere. The building began to collapse. Hundreds of citizens were trapped inside. Alien officials froze in fear. This was the worst danger yet. The human commander appeared on a communication feed. His voice was calm, even as alarms blared around him. Alpha Team stabilize the central hub. Beta Team evacuate civilians. Gamma Team deploy structural shields. Everyone act immediately. Lives depend on this. Without hesitation, human shuttles descended. Teams moved into the building, coordinating with alien engineers and emergency teams. They carried stabilizers, cutting tools, and emergency equipment. Every step was calculated, every action precise. Prince Loran's eyes widened as he saw the humans inside the building. Sparks flew. Beams shifted dangerously. Dust filled the air. And yet the humans worked calmly, lifting debris, securing structures, and evacuating the trapped citizens. The aliens had never seen courage like this. They had never seen such calm in the face of danger. They began to understand a simple truth. Humans were fearless not because they lacked fear, but because they acted despite it. Hours passed. The storm finally began to weaken. The human fleet, exhausted but determined, continued their rescue and repair operations. The central hub was stabilized. The citizens were safe. The city, though damaged, had survived. Prince Loran turned to his brother, tears in his eyes. They saved the city. Every life, they risked everything and saved everyone. Prince Avel placed a hand on Loran's shoulder. And that is what all of us must remember. Humans are powerful not because they fight wars, but because they fight for life itself. That is their true strength. The princes walked through the palace, speaking quietly to their advisors. We must change how we see strength, Avel said. We must teach our people that courage is not in power, but in compassion. Loran nodded. And in action, they do not just talk, they act. They face danger for others. That is something we have rarely seen in the galaxy. Outside, the human fleet prepared for the final stabilization operations. Massive energy stabilizers were deployed across the planet. Shuttles moved swiftly, guided by careful calculations. Drones repaired damaged infrastructure. Medical teams continued their work tirelessly. Citizens began to cheer for the humans openly. They brought food and water to exhausted human teams. They offered thanks, respect, and admiration. Some even volunteered to help. Prince Avel watched all of this in silence. Humans do not seek thanks, he said quietly. They do not need gratitude. Their reward is seeing life survive. That is why they are extraordinary. Prince Loran looked down at the planet below. The people were safer, the storm was weakening, and the human fleet continued to work. He realized that humanity was unlike any other species he had ever known. They are perfect in a way, Loran whispered. Not because they are without flaws, but because they try, no matter the risk, to protect life. Avel nodded. And that is why we must honor them, remember them, learn from them. Humanity is not only strong, they are hope itself. The cosmic disaster began to subside. The human fleet, though exhausted, maintained its work until every major city, every power grid, and every citizen was safe. The princes realized something profound. Their world had been saved not by weapons, not by conquest, not by force, but by courage, compassion, and determination. And that realization changed everything. For the first time in history, the alien princes understood a truth that would shape their world forever. Humans are not just survivors. They are protectors. They are fearless because they choose to face danger for others. And their strength is greater than any army, greater than any weapon, and greater than any empire. Prince Loran turned to Avel. We have watched armies of many species, but this is different. This is not an army. This is a rescue team. And it is stronger than anything we have ever seen. Prince Avel smiled faintly. Yes, brother, that is why the galaxy must remember when humans arrive, it is not to conquer, it is to save. And high above, in orbit, the human fleet continued its work, quiet, tireless, and unstoppable. The storm had not yet passed completely, but humanity's resolve had already made a difference that would never be forgotten. The sky above the alien world slowly cleared. The storms, though still threatening in distant regions, had weakened. The humans continued their work, moving calmly and efficiently across cities and towns. Citizens who had feared the worst now looked at the human fleet with awe and gratitude. What had seemed like an unstoppable army at first had revealed itself as something far greater, a fleet devoted entirely to saving life. Prince Loran and Prince Avel walked across the palace observation deck. Their eyes were wide, filled with amazement. For hours they had watched human crews work tirelessly, risking their own lives to protect strangers. Every building stabilized, every citizen rescued, every bridge repaired was a testament to human courage. "They are extraordinary," whispered Loran. "I have never seen a species act like this, not even in the histories of the greatest empires." Avel nodded slowly. "They are not just strong, they are determined, brave, compassionate, and their actions are bigger than any words can describe." The princes turned to the palace scientists who had been monitoring human operations across the planet. "Show us the overall impact," Avel requested. Holographic maps lit up in front of them. Each city showed zones of danger that had been stabilized. Bridges once on the brink of collapse were repaired. Hospitals operated at full capacity. Critical energy grids were restored. Even rural areas were receiving aid. Every region of the planet had been touched by human hands. Prince Loran's mouth opened in disbelief. "They did all of this in less than a day?" The lead scientist nodded. "Yes, Your Highness, and the most remarkable part, they acted perfectly under pressure. Even in the areas most at risk, they never paused, they never hesitated. They saved thousands of lives today." The princes fell silent for a moment. Outside, citizens began to emerge cautiously from shelters, witnessing the humans in action. Some brought food and water. Others offered thanks. Many simply watched in awe as humans worked alongside alien teams to restore normalcy. One human engineer gently lifted a trapped alien child from the rubble. The child clung to the engineer's uniform, shivering in fear. Yet the human spoke softly, reassuring the child. "It's okay. You're safe now." The calm, confident words, combined with careful hands, gave hope to both the child and nearby onlookers. Prince Loran's voice broke softly. "They care about everyone, not just their own people, not just the powerful, everyone." Avel placed a hand on his brother's shoulder. "That is why they are feared in some parts of the galaxy and revered in others. Their strength is not for conquest, but for protection. Their courage is unmatched because they fight for life itself." From orbit, the human fleet continued stabilizing distant regions. Smaller storms still threatened, but humans had deployed advanced shields to protect each zone. Their drones repaired collapsed bridges, reinforced weakened buildings, and assisted alien citizens in every possible way. Every human in the fleet seemed tireless, yet their movements were precise, controlled, and confident. The princes could see the extraordinary discipline of humanity in action. Where other species might panic, humans remained calm. Where others might hesitate, humans acted immediately. Where others sought glory, humans sought only life. Prince Loran turned to Avel, eyes wide. They don't fight for power, they don't seek recognition, they just help, even when it's dangerous, even when it's exhausting." Avel nodded slowly. "And that is the lesson we must carry forward. True strength is not measured by armies or weapons. It is measured by courage, compassion, and the willingness to act for others." On the ground, human medics continued their tireless work. One team had reached a flooded district where citizens had been trapped for hours. Human engineers reinforced the levees, while rescue shuttles lifted stranded families. Another human crew repaired a collapsing power plant while stabilizing nearby homes. Citizens who had feared the humans only hours before now began to assist. They carried supplies, guided children, and helped medics transport the injured. Slowly, cooperation spread across the cities. Humans led, but they inspired others to help as well. The princes watched as a human officer coordinated a massive operation through holographic displays. Team Delta reinforced the northern shield. Team Epsilon evacuate citizens from the valley. Team Zeta assist medical teams. Time is short. Every life counts. And every life was saved. Prince Loran's voice trembled with awe. "They truly never stop. No matter the danger, no matter the risk, they keep going." Avel nodded. "And that is why they are more than a fleet. They are a lesson, a force for good. They are hope made real." As the final energy waves of the cosmic disaster passed, the human fleet began to withdraw. Their shuttles lifted from the planet's surface, their ships slowly ascending into orbit. Citizens waved. Children cheered, elders bowed in respect. Even the alien princes could not hide their admiration. The human commander projected a final message to the palace. His voice was calm, kind, and firm. Kingdom leaders, your world is stabilized. All citizens have been assisted, and critical infrastructure is operational. We will remain in orbit until your systems are fully secure. You do not owe us anything. We act because life matters, that is all. The princes bowed deeply, humbled by the words. Prince Loran spoke first. You have shown us what strength truly means. Not weapons, not armies, but courage, sacrifice, and compassion. You have saved our world. The human commander's eyes softened. We did what needed to be done. That is all any of us can do. Prince Avel looked out over the planet, then turned to his brother. We have witnessed a power that the galaxy has rarely seen. Humans do not conquer, they protect. They fight for life itself. That is their true legacy. Loran nodded slowly. And we will carry that lesson forever. Every story we tell, every generation that comes, they will know humanity's courage. The alien citizens began celebrating their survival, but also acknowledging the humans. Songs were sung, stories were shared. Statues were not built of the humans' faces or names, but of the spirit they represented, courage, unity, and selfless protection. The princes walked through the palace, reflecting on what they had seen. We must remember this day, Avel said. Not for the danger, not for the destruction, but for what humans showed us. That even in fear one can act with courage, that even in chaos one can bring hope. Loran smiled, feeling a sense of awe. They are not just visitors, they are heroes, legends. A reminder to the galaxy of what it means to be truly strong. The human fleet slowly departed orbit, leaving behind drones to monitor residual risks and teams to ensure continued stability. They did not seek reward. They did not take land, resources, or influence. They had arrived when no one else could, and they left after ensuring that life would continue safely. And for the alien princes, this was the most important lesson of all. Avel looked down at his world, now safe and recovering. We have always feared humans. We thought them dangerous, unpredictable, but now we see the truth. Their greatest power is their heart, their courage, their unwillingness to abandon those in need. Loran smiled. And the galaxy will remember this day. When humans arrive, it is not to conquer, it is to save. And that is something worth celebrating forever. The citizens of the alien world, young and old, had seen a new kind of heroism. They had seen courage that risked everything for others. And slowly their fear turned into admiration, their doubt into respect, and their awe into inspiration. Stories of the day spread quickly across the planet and into neighboring systems. Scholars wrote about it. Artists painted it. Minstrels sang of the human rescue team that had arrived when hope seemed lost. And in every story, one truth was clear. When humans come, they do not fight for power. They fight for life. They fight for courage. They fight for hope. For the alien princes, the lesson was eternal. They would teach their people not only to rebuild, but also to value courage, compassion, and the selfless protection of life above all else. Humanity had not only saved their world, it had inspired it. And high above, somewhere in the vastness of space, the human fleet moved on to the next world in need, quiet, tireless, and fearless, leaving behind a planet safe, alive, and forever changed. In the end, the galaxy learned a simple but profound truth. Humanity's strength is not in domination. It is in rescue, it is in courage, it is in hope, and no force in the universe can surpass a species that refuses to abandon life. The alien princes looked at each other, knowing they had witnessed history. That was not an army, Loran whispered. That was a rescue team. Avel smiled softly. And that is why humans will always be remembered, not for war, not for conquest, but for what they truly are, heroes. The planet, safe and alive, continued to spin in the calm after the storm. And humanity's legend had just grown, brighter than any star in the sky.